So we're going to be doing double bagging and PPE today. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to assess for the need for PPE. If the patient's on airborne precautions, you're going to want to have an N95 mask, but good luck finding those right now because they're not being used by us low-life professionals anymore. So what you're going to do, if you come into contact with blood, fecal matter, any kind of secretions, anything except sweat, you're going to need PPE. At this point, you probably don't want to introduce yourself to your patient first because they're probably in ISO. But you're going to don all of your things before you introduce yourself to your patient. So first you're going to perform hand hygiene, and the first thing that you put on is going to be your gown. So my gown has very long strings on it. I'm short, so they might touch the floor on this, but you pick it up by the shoulders, and you're going to let it fall to the ground. And not letting it touch any furniture or cabinets or anything. You're going to put it on. If you are a bigger person, and if you need two to completely cover yourself, you're going to put the first one on much like you do a coat, and then the second one goes on like this. And so you're going to tie it on the neck first, and then you tie it at the waist. One of the things about the waist ties is that you can't overlap it and tie it in the front. So then you're going to put on your face mask, and the little bar, there should be a little flexible one here. It depends on what kind of face mask you're using, if you're using elastic or not. But this goes over your nose, and you tie the first one, the top one first, and then you're going to tie the bottom one, and you're going to make sure that the bottom of the mask covers your chin. And then if you need a face mask or goggles, I don't have a face mask right now, and it kind of depends on what type that your facility gives you. So I'm just going to use my glasses for goggles. So then you're going to put your goggles on, and you want to make sure that that sits over your face mask. So then, if you need to, or you should need to, you're going to put on your hairnet, because you don't want even your hair to come into contact with anything that is floating around in the room or you get splashed with something. Then you would put on your shoe covers, and the last thing that you do is put on your gloves. So when you put on your gloves, one of the important things to remember is that the cuff of your gloves should cover the cuff of your gown. You don't want any exposed skin while you're in there caring for your patient. So if you need to double bag something, this is going to require two employees. Don't do this when you're in isolation, but I can't breathe with it on, so I need to do this. So if you need to double bag something, what you're going to do is you're going to have your dirty person in your isolation room and your clean person in the doorway. Thank you. So if you have biohazardous material, it should go in here. Your clean person stays in the doorway, and when they're holding the bag, it should cover it, kind of like a trash bag. And when you put something in the bag, you're not just going to dump it in there. You're just going to kind of gently place it in there, and hopefully it drops right down in there. So then your clean person should also have gloves on, and they would fold it up, make sure that the bag is either a biohazard bag and gets placed in the appropriate receptacle, or it should be labeled and placed in the appropriate receptacle. So to take your PPE off, you would grasp the cuff without touching your skin, pull that off so that you have it in one hand. And then you're going to place fingers underneath the cuff of the second one so it rolls up into a ball and that you don't touch the outsides of the gloves. And then that gets thrown away. So then it would be your gown next, so you would undo your ties and you would kind of let it fall forward. If it does, sometimes these stick, but then you put your hands down inside, and then this gets all folded so that the outside is in, and then this gets thrown into a ball and that gets thrown away. So then you're going to do your hair cover next, and you're just going to slide your fingers in it and take it off. That gets thrown away. And then your goggles, you're going to grab by the stems of your goggles or a face mask, and you're going to take those off. So to undo your mask, you would do the bottom first. So that would get untied because you don't want it flopping. So the bottom would go first, and then you'd undo the tie. Again, that gets thrown away. And then you would get your shoes off. So after you get your shoes off, that's when you can wash your hands and make sure everything's all nice and clean. And that's it.